the last 2 weeks. I was on a diet break. So when I first started the diet break, I was at 135. We did 1 week diet break. I'll put the macros and everything here. I went down half a pound on the diet break, so Paul's like, let's do a second diet break week. So we did that. I actually came up, I was 134.5 after the first week of the diet break, and after the second week I was 137.5. Normally, typically, if I, under normal circumstances, I would have freaked out, but I started a new medication about 6-7 weeks ago, and so that has fully, like, you know, got into therapeutic levels in my system, and one of the major side effects is weight gain. Since I was 100% on everything and the diet break wasn't anything extreme, we just brought my calories up to more of a maintenance. Again, I'll share on the screen. So what is probably happening is just some hormonal fluctuations due to the medication. So what Paul did is he lowered, after the second week of my diet break, he lowered my macros a little bit, nothing extreme, but he bumped up my cardio to 60 minutes per day, or 60 minutes 5 times per week, where I was doing 45 minutes before that. With that change, and then that was Monday, he made the changes. Today is Thursday. I've come down 2 pounds already, so I am hopeful. You know, I would be freaked out about the number on the scale, because, you know, 137.5, my expected stage weight is around 125, maybe a little bit lower. So with, I think I have 10 weeks left with that timeline. It's a little bit scary. However, I am looking leaner even though the scale's up. So what that tells me is there's some hormonal fluctuations going on. I'm holding some inflammation probably. So when that drops, I'm really excited. And I'm already feeling so much leaner since Monday. I can visually see it in my photos, and when I'm training, when I get a pump and things like that. So I wanted to just kind of go over and share, what is a diet break? Why would you do a diet break? Is a diet break for you? So typically, a diet break is when it doesn't mean you break from the diet. What it means is you strategically bring up your macros and calories somewhere around maintenance, maybe a little bit below, but typically right around maintenance, and you bring your cardio down. Paul usually cuts my cardio in half, and that's typically what I do for my clients as well. So for example, on my diet break, instead of doing, now it's lost me if I do 5 or 6 days of cardio, prep brain. But he took that, instead of doing 45-minute sessions, I was doing 25-minute sessions during the diet break. So he dropped it by about half. The reason for bringing calories up and lowering cardio is because when you're dieting for a long period of time and you're in a deficit, there's going to be some hormonal and metabolic changes that happen. During a diet break, you won't fully recover those things, but you can definitely, it's a break from the diet. So you're gonna see probably lower cortisol. You're going to see that your training intensity gets better, your sleep gets better, you're not as food focused, your hunger levels get in a better spot. So when you've been dieting, so I had already been dieting 12 or 13 weeks when we did the diet break. By that time, mentally, physically, I'm starting to get pretty taxed. So it allowed for me to recover. I think in my opinion, when I go through a diet break myself, the mental part of it is the best for me. So yes, it's great, you know, that I get to have more macros and do less cardio, but just to not feel as hungry and not be as food focused. So what I look for in my clients personally, if they need a diet break, it's not so much the length of time you've been dieting, because it's going to be, some people can diet for 16 weeks and not need a diet break. Some people can only diet for 4 or 5 weeks and they need a diet break. What I look for is, how are my clients sleeping? How is their recovery? Are they food focused? Are they falling off plan? Typically, a really good sign for me is when I see a client who's always typically 100%, and for a week or 2 in a row, they're like, hey, I added a little bit, I've been having a little bit extra bites. Hey, I've been really struggling in the evening. My appetite has been kicking up a lot. Those are typically signs for me, because one thing I'm doing as a coach, yes, I want you to hit your goal, but I really, because I've been through it myself, want to try to keep my clients from getting food focused or a bad relationship with food. And when you start straying from your diet, typically once you've started that, if you don't give yourself a little bit of a break, you'll just make it worse and worse and worse before you're like in a hole and you can't stop. You know, what I've seen a lot is people who, and I did this myself early in my competing career, I super restricted when I was in contest prep, and then I would binge on food because I was overly hungry. I was taking my calories and my calories too low and my cardio too high, and so I could do really well for like 5 or 6 days, but then you'd have your cheat meal. So this is another reason why I keep cheat meals out of my clients' plans who are in contest prep, because I really think it makes this all or nothing mindset where it's just really hard to come out of that. So that is reasons you would want to do a diet break, or maybe you would want to try it yourself. If you don't know your maintenance calories, if you're doing refeed days, so a lot of the times when I put my client on a diet break, I'll put them on their refeed macros for 7 days. So typically somebody's refeed macros, again, dependent on client, circumstance, goal, they might have 40, 50 more carbs for 2 days out of the week. So if their typical carbs are 150, maybe on their refeeds, I give them 200 carbs. In the diet break too, typically I'll bump their fats. I don't usually bump fats for just a refeed day, but for a diet break I will. 5 or 10 grams, I'll bump that and then bump up the carbs. And it really is just dependent on the client. And if you're thinking about it yourself, think about how hungry are you actually. Like, are you pretending like you're being 100%? Are you pretending like you've got it all under control? Or are you very hungry and need more food? You're not gonna undo your diet in 1 or 2 weeks by strategically bringing things up. Even if you happen to put on 1 or 2 pounds, as I did, as soon as you bring yourself back into a deficit, you're going to lose that weight. But your mental is going to be in a much, much better place than if you didn't do it at all. So I hope that was helpful. I don't really have a lot more to share in terms of my progress. I had been doing these weekly, and the further I get into prep, the more they're like 2-week recaps. But it's going really well. I'm feeling really good, really confident. As I'm getting leaner and leaner, I'm seeing like more shoulder than I had before, you know, because I haven't competed since 2019. I did do a show in 2020, but it was like a Steven on the team dared me to do a show, and I did it, but I was not truly ready, and I do not recommend that to anyone. Just I have clients, the one thing this taught me is I did the show for fun because I like to compete. I do genuinely do it because I have fun, and so I thought, oh fuck it, it'll be fine, you know, like what's the worst, I'm not gonna do my best, who cares. But that feeling of showing up when you know you could have looked better sucks. So that's why for my clients, I try to just kind of remind them, like, I know you're doing this for fun and you say you don't care if you win, but once you're there on show day, typically you want to win. So anyway, that is my recap for the week. If anybody has questions about diet break, you can put it down below in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week for hopefully new low.